Help me reach 3,000 subscribers. Hit like and leave a comment. I really do read them all. She said it like she was reading a parking sign. Quiet Tuesday, 8:45 p.m., TV paused on some cooking show. I'd asked simple, come to bed. She didn't look away from her phone. I think once a month is enough. No heat, no humor, just a policy. And that was the moment the light flipped. I didn't argue. I logged it. If I'd known where that sentence would take us, I would have slept early and saved myself a few weeks. The next morning I made eggs, poured coffee, and put a plate at her place like I always had. She drifted in wearing a robe, hair pinned, eyes still on the screen. You're up early, she mentioned. Habit, I said, cutting a triangle of toast. About your note last night. What note? Once a month is enough. Clear rule. I'm matching it. I sipped coffee. From me. Same schedule, same access. Once a month. She blinked. Don't make it a thing. It's not a thing. It's a calendar. You're being dramatic, she murmured. I'm being precise. She propped a hip against the counter. Why are you talking like a memo? Because you set terms. I respect terms. You're twisting it. I'm just following it. I nodded at the plate. Eat before it cools. She rolled her eyes and Saturday, so what? You're punishing me. Punishment is emotional. I'm logistical. I tapped the table. Schedule matches schedule. That's petty. That's adult. She stabbed a piece of egg. I'm tired at night. Work is insane. Then we don't overpromise. I answered. We set expectations. Is that your line now? She shot back. It's my line since you wrote the policy. She spread jam with a slow, deliberate motion. You're really going to do this once a month act? It's not an act. It's the environment. God, you make everything sound like a project plan. It's either that or fairy tales. Fine, she muttered, chewing. Whatever. No, whatever. We're aligned. Means I'm not available on call. I won't chase. I won't ask twice. We'll operate on calendar invites. Stop, she whispered. You're embarrassing. Then change the rule. She looked up at me. Don't threaten. It's not a threat. It's a mirror. I cleared the plates, rinsed the pan, and wiped the counter. While the sponge squeaked in the sink, my phone buzzed. Calendar open, new event, monthly. I put it in for the last Friday of each month. I shared it with her. She glanced at her phone and exhaled through her nose. What's that? Your policy, scheduled. She stood. You're so cold. I'm on your temperature now. She left the kitchen. When the door clicked, I leaned on the counter and counted to 5. That was me, choosing stillness. After dishes, I opened a rental site and scrolled through short-term leases across town. Not a threat, a contingency. Work stayed steady. I run a small crew, fix things that people break, build things they need, keep the lights on. Wednesday afternoon, I was at the shop with Ray, my foreman. He's mid-50s, dry humor, a man who knows how to listen without moving his face. He watched me measure a board twice, even though we both knew it was square. You measuring me or the wood, boss? Both, I told him. You look like you're buffering. My wife set a policy. Those are never fun. She says once a month is enough. He whistled without sound. For everything? Enough. Her word. Ray set the drill down. What's your move? Match the policy, I told him. Shift my time. Change the house rules. Maybe change the house. Like leave, he asked. Like have another address. I marked the cut. Not angry. Just done performing. He nodded once. That plays. My phone pinged again. A text from her. Can you come home early? The garbage bins need to go out. Also the faucet drips again. And we're out of dishwasher pods. I replied, I'm at work. Put requests in a list. I'll schedule maintenance like I do for clients. She shot back. You're at work? I'm at work. We share a house. We share a mortgage, I typed. Access to me is monthly. Access to my labor is by appointment. Ray caught my eye and lifted an eyebrow. Spicy. Accurate, I said. 30 minutes later, she walked into the shop. That never happens. She doesn't like the smell of cut pine. She held a cardboard tray, 2 coffees, and a paper bag. I brought treats, she announced like a politician entering a diner. Peace offering. Ray wiped his hands and stepped to the back like a ghost. I set the board on the sawhorses. To what do we owe the honor? I was harsh last night, she said, setting the tray on the portable toolbox. I'm just stretched. I shouldn't have said it like that. You said it fine, I answered, not touching the coffee. It was clear. She tilted her head. Can we not lock into something weird? We're fine. We're not weird. We're orderly. She lifted the bag. Blueberry muffins. You're trying, I acknowledged. I hear that. So, maybe we can reset? She asked. Movie tonight. Takeout. We turn everything off. You don't have to be whatever this is. I'll be home around 7, I told her. We'll eat. No movie. I have calls. Her mouth tightened. You always have calls. Not always. Tonight I do. She glanced at the bench. What are you making? Shelving for the office install. She reached for my arm. I stepped back half a foot to avoid the sawdust. Don't get the blouse dusty, I said. Her hand hovered, then fell. I'm not the villain. I didn't assign roles, I said. I just logged terms. If you're going to be icy, I can leave, she said softly. You walked into my shop, brought sugar, and asked for a reset that favors your comfort, I replied. That's not a fix. That's a patch. So you're not taking the muffins? I'm taking the information. She stared. You're different. I'm awake. She swallowed that and dug for the car keys. 7 then. 7. I confirmed, already turning back to the work. When she left, Ray reappeared with a look people wear when a ladder wobbles. He kept it simple. You alright? I'm done negotiating with Fogg, I said. He pointed at my phone. That rental listing still up? I booked a showing for Thursday, I told him. The place was a small loft above a quiet street, enough for a bed, a table, an air that didn't smell like someone else's timeline. I'm not announcing anything yet. I'll just change where I leave my boots. That night she was soft. The dinner was careful. She asked questions about my day, nodded at my short answers, sat closer on the couch without touching me. I noticed the performance and kept the temperature low. At 10, she yawned and stood. You coming? She asked, the first time she'd asked in months. I've got emails, I replied mild. You go ahead. Her mouth made a disappointed line. Right. I shut my laptop at 11 and took the guest room. Separate doors, quiet carpet, 2 pillows that held no history. I slept like a man who'd stopped trying to guess somebody else's weather. The next day, the showing went fine. The landlord was a retired teacher with a neat beard and a clean ledger. The rent was reasonable. I told him I'd let him know by the weekend. He handed me 2 keys on a brass ring anyway. Sometimes men know what they need, he said. Sometimes they just need a space to close a door. Sometimes, I agreed, pocketing the ring. Saturday, the neighbors fired up the grill. The HOA likes its summer ribbon of smoke and small talk. We walked over around 4, carrying a bowl of salad that tasted like a compromise. She waved to people, slipped into chatter with 2 women from her running club, and I found a corner of fence and a paper plate. Mike, our across-the-street guy, ambled over with a spatula. He's one of those men who never looks upset, even when he's upset. Burgers in 5, he said. You good? Always. You and Laura doing that lake trip next month? He asked. Calendar's light for couple trips, I told him. He looked past me at her. She said you've been heads down. Big projects. Something like that. The conversation didn't stick. It never does when something obvious hangs in the air like smoke. I took a plate, added a burger, and stood near the cooler. The women laughed at something. She turned, saw me, and crooked a finger. Come here a sec, she called. I walked over. Her friends gave me appraisal smiles. This is my husband, she told them. He's a machine. Fixes everything. You know those little house emergencies? He's my maintenance plan. She tossed it out playfully, but aimed it. It keeps me sane. I waited a beat, then smiled mildly. I do like things that work. She smirked, liking the audience. He's very scheduled now. Like, subscription-based. Once a month, like clockwork. It's probably healthy. Her friends laughed. Not cruelly. Just that safe, social laughter that says, we're part of your bit. I let the silence stretch an extra second, so it wasn't friendly anymore. I am scheduled now, I said. Laura set the schedule. We're matching energy. One friend glanced between us. The other found her cup fascinating. She didn't blink, like she couldn't decide if she wanted to keep performing. So she doubled down. Don't scare them. He's kidding. I'm not kidding, I told the group, even and simple. We're roommates until further notice. Shared mortgage, separate lanes. Maintenance by appointment. The friend with the cup coughed into it. Mike, conveniently nearby, froze mid-spatula. That was a witness, and sometimes witnesses keep things honest. She laughed like it was charming. He's so literal. He loves rules. It's adorable. Adorable, I repeated. Sure. I tipped my plate. The ketchup ran into the grass. Laura, quick heads up. I'm moving some things out this week. Tools, a suitcase, my computer. I'll be at a place uptown on weekends. That way the schedule's clean. Her jaw worked. We didn't discuss that. You issued the policy, I answered. I'm making the operations plan. In front of people? She snapped, heat finally showing. What are you doing? Being transparent, I said. Saves misreadings later. Mike moved like he'd heard a smoke alarm only he could hear. The women drifted, moths finding another porch light. She hissed under her breath. You're making me look bad. You did that when you turned my marriage into a service subscription, I answered softly. I'm just canceling auto-renew. Enough, she said. Don't do this here. We'll do it everywhere, I told her, and took a bite, calm like a man reading a weather report. So there's no confusion. She stepped closer. If you walk out, don't expect a welcome mat when you change your mood. I don't change moods. I make decisions. Stop with the slogans. I will when you stop writing policies. She stared through me like you stare through window glass to see what's outside. We need to talk tonight. We don't, I said. We can exchange information. Talking hasn't helped. She gave me a tight smile for the neighbors, then walked away, hip bones and pride, back to the safe shore of her friends. Kill turn landed clean. Public mark, clear disrespect. I ate the rest of the burger because it was warm and because I don't leave food to rot while I prove a point. On the way home, she walked ahead 10 paces like she was towing me. In the kitchen, she turned. You made me look ridiculous, she said. You did the bit, I said, rinsing my hands. I ended it. You're overreacting. I'm adjusting. You're punishing me for being honest about my needs. You're rationing connection and treating me like a tool. Those aren't needs. Those are instructions. She stepped closer. I need space. Take it, I said. I'll take mine. You're not moving out. I'm moving different, I answered. Suitcase only. The rest of me follows the policy. Fine, she said, chin up. You want space? Take it. Don't blame me when you don't like it. I don't blame you, I said. I thank you. Clarity is a gift. She went still, then nodded once like she'd win eventually. People who like control always think the scoreboard is a circle. I texted the retired teacher. I'll take the loft. Start date Sunday. He sent a thumbs up and a code to the lockbox. Sunday morning, I loaded a suitcase and a crate of basic tools into the bed of my truck. I didn't sneak. I carried them through the front door, past the framed photos and the tidy entry table. She stood by the stair rail, arms folded. That's dramatic, she said. It's a bag, I replied. You're making a show. I'm making a move. You'll be back tonight, she predicted. I'll be back when the calendar says so. You're not serious. I am the most serious man you know, I told her, and set the suitcase upright by the door. She took a deep breath like she was going to try a different play. It came in sweet. I was rough. I know. I'm sorry. Work has been heavy. I took it out on you. Stay and we'll reset. I'll make pancakes. We'll sit outside. I'll put my phone away. I appreciate the apology, I told her. I mean it, she said softer. I miss us. We haven't been us in a long time, I said. And you like it that way. That's not fair. It's accurate. Can't we take a day? She pressed. Just you and me. No rules. Rules are the only thing we have left, I said. She blinked, and the sweetness melted. So, what? You're clocking out of the marriage. You clocked it. I'm just keeping time. God, you're impossible. I'm clear. The loft was clean and quiet. It had a sloped ceiling and a big window that faced a maple tree. I put my boots by the door and breathed in the smell of soap and sawdust. That night, I slept with one arm behind my head and woke with no alarms except my own. Monday at the shop, Ray watched me break down a pallet. He didn't ask. He held one end and waited for the other to fall. Around noon, Jess from accounting popped in with a stack of invoices. You look lighter, she said. I put down something heavy, I replied. You call your mother with that tone? She grinned. My mother would like it, I said. At 4, my phone buzzed. A text from her. Where are you? At work, I responded. Dinner, she wrote. I'm making that chicken you like. Thanks, I replied. Rain check. I set the table. I didn't set the calendar. A pause, then, I get it. You're making a point. I'm living by yours, I typed. That's the point. At 6, she called. I answered, because I'm not a child. You're being cruel, she said. I'm being consistent. You're ignoring us. I'm ignoring chaos. You used to be soft, she said. I used to be blind. You make everything transactional. You started with a ration, I answered. I'm not shopping anymore. She hung up. That was her own kind of punctuation. I locked the shop, drove to the loft, and ate a sandwich sitting on the floor because the table wasn't assembled yet. It was enough. Enough is a word you can own when you stop letting other people define it. By Friday, I'd moved a few more things. A second set of toiletries. Socks. A coffee mug. I didn't ask. I left a note on the kitchen counter with 3 bullets. 1. Split utilities starting next month. 2. Household repairs scheduled via text. 2-week lead time. 3. Weekend availability. Not available. I signed it with my name because that's how adults sign rules. She found me in the garage when I came to grab a drill. You left a memo, she said. I left a boundary. It reads like a contract. I learned from the best, I replied. You're ridiculous. I'm effective. You're really not going to be home this weekend. That's what not available means. She planted her feet. Fine. Then I need something from you. I waited. My sister's having that shower Saturday. I need you there. You smile. You help carry gifts. You don't make it weird. We have a life. We had a life, I answered. We have a mortgage. That's different. So you're skipping a family event to sulk in your little loft. I'm skipping a performance, I corrected. And it's not little. She laughed, short and mean. Of course that's what matters to you. The size. What matters to me is respect, I said. And your habit of cashing in my presence while denying my person. That's dramatic. That's precise. She stepped closer. If you're not there, I'll have to answer questions. Answer honestly, I said. Tell them we're optimizing. Her eyes flashed. You think you're so clever. I think I'm finally using my brain. She paused, recalculated, and tried the second kind of softening, over the top. She moved to me, wrapped her arms around my neck, breathed a practiced warmth. Please, she whispered. Just this one. I'll make it worth it. I'll try. I know I've been distant. I'll fix it. I let her finish the speech. It was good theater. The kind you use when the crowd looks bored. You're working on the wrong audience, I said, stepping back. I don't buy season passes anymore. The next day she left 2 voicemails. Same message said 2 ways. Guilt and hope. I listened, then deleted both. I spent Saturday morning assembling the table in the loft, then met Ray for coffee at a small diner where nobody knew me. He looked at the ring of keys on the table. You really did it, he said. I really did, I answered. He nodded. You look like a man who can hear himself think. It's loud at first, I said. Then it's quiet like a good engine. You think she'll pivot? He asked. She already tried, I said. Baked goods and a hug. That's not a pivot. That's a costume change. Sometimes that's all they got, he said. Then they're out of road. Sunday night, I went back to the house to pick up mail and a few shirts. She was in the living room, lights low, a candle fighting for relevance. The TV glowed on mute. She had photos spread on the coffee table like evidence that once we smiled. You weren't there, she said without looking at me. I told you I wouldn't be. I had to explain. And you survived. They asked where you were. I said you were at a job. Do you know how pathetic that sounded? Her eyes finally lifted. People think we're in trouble. We are, I said. We were. You like this, don't you? Her voice sharpened. You like punishing me. If I liked any of this, I'd be sick, I said. I'm not trying to make you hurt. I'm trying to stop being hurt. She looked down at a photo of us at a state park, 2 people who hadn't yet turned everything into policy. She slid it with 1 finger. I want my husband. You want my quiet labor and my public smile? I said. Husband came with other terms. I don't need to be lectured. You need to be told the truth, I said. Because you started pretending that comfort and control are love. I never said that. You lived it. She pressed a palm to her forehead. What is the plan then? You move out on weekends like a college kid, and we play nice when it suits you. When it suits the calendar, I corrected. That's your line. You're impossible. Clarity often is. She stood, paced, sat again. So when is this monthly thing you put in the calendar? She said the word like it tasted sour. Last Friday of each month, I said. And until then, we're roommates. Yes. Fine, she said. Fine. You'll see how that feels. I nodded. So will you. End of the month landed faster than I expected. Days pass quick when you're not dragging them like a bag of bricks up a hill. The last Friday, I came home at 5. The house was staged. New candles. Music at a volume that sounded like someone else's house. She wore a dress I'd bought her years ago. She handed me a glass of water and didn't mention the rules. You look nice, I said. Thank you, she said, swallowed, and tried to smile. I made dinner. Thought we could, reset. There's that word again, I said. We need it. Do we? I asked. We do, she said, and for a second I saw panic flicker behind the performance. I don't want to lose everything. You wanted to keep comfort and control, I said evenly. So you cut the rest. You called it space. Then you put me on a timer. Her jaw trembled, then stiffened. Stop. Finally telling the truth isn't cruelty, I said. I said stop, she repeated. I said I'll try. Do you want to try? I asked. Or do you want to keep the optics while I carry the rest? She stared at me, and behind the eyes I saw the ledger she keeps. Columns. Costs and benefits. She'd done the math wrong and didn't like the answer. She set the glass down carefully. Eat, she said. Please. We ate. We talked about traffic and a news story and a neighbor's dog. It was small talk stretched over a chasm. Later, in the hallway, she touched my arm and said, with practiced softness, don't go back to your place tonight. I live there on weekends, I said. That's the plan. Don't go, she said again, and this time it wasn't a tactic. It was late and real, and we both knew it. Don't leave me here alone with this silence. I looked at her. The woman I married was still somewhere in there, but the woman who loved control had built walls between us and locked the doors. I can respect walls. I can't pretend they're windows. You set the thermostat, I told her, voice even. I just stopped trying to sweat under a blanket. That's a terrible line, she said, half a laugh escaping. It's also true. Please, she whispered. Don't go. I picked up the small duffel I kept by the door. I left the house key on the entry table next to the bowl where we tossed spare coins. I kept the garage opener. I still owned half the roof. This isn't punishment, I said, meeting her eyes so she wouldn't mistake it. This is me choosing not to be half a person. You're throwing us away. You threw us under a calendar, I said. I'm just walking where the road actually goes. She reached for my sleeve. I stepped back. Not a flinch. Not a show. Just space. You're not going to say anything else? She asked. One last thing, I told her. When you treat a man like a function, don't be shocked when he runs like a program. I'm not your app. I'm done. I opened the door. She stood very still. I walked out into air that didn't need explaining. In the weeks after, life reduced to clean lines. I worked. I trained a kid on the crew to stop rushing cuts. I fixed a stubborn cabinet for a lady who paid in homemade pie she insisted was not charity, just gratitude. On Thursdays, I played cards with Ray and two retired guys who argue about fishing spots. On Sundays, I drove out of town and let the highway decide how far I went before turning back. The loft felt like a toolbox with a bed, and that was perfect. I bought a used table and a chair that didn't match it. I kept the floors swept. I went to a small gym where nobody knows anybody, and you don't have to talk. A woman there, Claire, started nodding at me each time. After a couple of weeks, we exchanged names and left it at that. No rush. No calendar invites that feel like court orders. The house became a place I visited with purpose. I mowed the lawn one Thursday because I happened to be there and grass grows, policy or not. I'm not petty. I'm precise. I left a receipt for half the gas on the counter with a note. We split this too. She didn't text. She sent one email. We need to meet to talk logistics. I replied with a time and a list. She canceled, then rescheduled, then canceled again. Control hates calendars when they're not its own. Neighbors quit asking where I was on weekends. They can read a driveway. Mike nodded to me one morning and said, "You look steady, man." I told him, "I am." I didn't hear much about her beyond some secondhand notes. A mutual friend mentioned she'd started hosting more girls' nights, which is a polite way of saying she needed people around to fill a quiet house. Another neighbor said the running club didn't see her much. I didn't smile at any of it. I don't collect anyone's pain. I just don't carry it anymore. There wasn't a dramatic end. No fireworks. No speeches. We separated like ice breaking up on a river that isn't warm yet, but decided to move anyway. Paperwork will be what it will be when it needs to be. I'm not in a hurry to make more ceremonies out of things that already happened. What I know is this. The night she wrote our marriage into a monthly plan, I believed her. People show you who they are when they don't think you'll leave. I left the part of the house where I turned myself into a service. I kept my name, my quiet, my hands. I've got a small place with a maple tree outside the window, a truck that starts, work that matters, and people around me who talk straight. On Thursdays, the card game runs late and nobody minds. On an ordinary afternoon at the gym, Claire asked if I wanted to grab coffee. I said yes, not because I needed it, because I wanted to say yes to simple things again. If you're looking for a line that closes it all, it's this. I stopped bargaining for respect from someone who liked my labor more than my life. She kept the house noisy.